Welcome, welcome. The first online self-care circle with me, Carrie Berkey. So to start, I said it'd be nice if you had a blanket. So you might want a towel also, but what we're going to do, this is going to be a very relaxing class, is you're going to roll it like this. So you want it pretty long. It doesn't necessarily have to be that thick. And I mean, if you're on a yoga mat or you're on the floor, you're going to put this down the middle. And the intention is for this to go along your spine and your head is going to rest on it. So it's a chest opener, a heart opener. And you'll enjoy this because we spend so much of our times like hunched over. It's going to open it up. So you might need to scoot a little bit in front. You're going to put your feet flat and you're going to lay down. And like I said, you want your head on it. I mean, and if you're really tight, this is going to feel like a really big chest opener. And then you can have your feet on the floor, knees bent, resting against each other. Like your feet can be wider than your hips and knees resting against each other. If this is like way too much, like you're really tight and this doesn't feel good, then I just want you to lay flat. Okay, so take some time to get comfortable. And so this is where we're going to start. I just want you to close your eyes. You're going to take some cleansing breaths here. So you're going to inhale deeply through your nose, and then you're going to exhale out of your mouth. You might like to add it like a little sigh. Just that sigh, that exhaling out of the mouth allows everything to soften. Just once you start to feel a little more relaxed, you can start to just breathe only through your nose. So I'm just going to clear our space with a little bit of sound. So your eyes are closed. You're letting the earth support you. If you have the blanket or towel rolled up underneath, your heart's opening up. If you're just laying flat, you should still feel a little bit of an opening in the chest area. Okay, so focus on your breath. So with this next chime, I just want you to feel like all the unhealthy attention, connections or attachments to the past just dissolve. And then with this next chime, I just want you to imagine, any kind of energy that you have kind of stuck in the future is released. The sense of trust. And may this last chime just bring you into the beauty of the present moment. Okay, so I want you to take a moment now and set an intention for your practice. This could be to just be in the present moment, like I just mentioned. It could be to be gentle with yourself today. It could be to, enjoy, celebrate where your body's at, just whatever comes to your mind. Just set an intention. Could be for the practice, could be for the day, the week, whatever feels right. want you to stay here a little bit longer. And it's nice to just get this sense of being supported. Mother Earth supporting you here. A sense that it's safe to pause and relax. And actually, sometimes when you do these pauses, that's when the magic's happening. Just enjoy this feeling. Being exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay, so if you're on the towel, I want you to roll off the side of it, scoot it to the side so it's out from underneath you, and it's just going to go to the side till later. Okay, from here, I'm going to have you extend your left leg all the way down, and you're going to hug your right knee into the chest. You might like to hug over the shin or the back of the thigh. That's just going to depend on how open you're feeling today, how this right side's feeling. And so as you hug it gently into the chest, I want you to feel like your chest stays open, your shoulders are relaxed, and listen to your breath. So when you hug in here, it helps open up around this right hip, but it also helps create an opening in the front of your left hip. We get really tight in these hip flexors here. So this is a nice way to open up the opposite side. Okay, so from here, if you do not have a strap or a towel, you are just going to extend your leg up and you're going to flex the foot. If you do have a strap or a towel, you're going to open it up and you're going to put it around the ball of your foot, that right foot, and you're going to extend it up. I don't want you straightening the leg yet. So even if you have a strap, if this is not comfortable and you prefer to hold the back of the leg, that's fine. But I want you to keep a little bend in the leg. I want you to reach through the heel so that calf is getting a big stretch. I feel like the toes point back down towards you. And then if you're holding a strap or a towel, you're going to now let your hands slide down so that your upper arms and shoulders are relaxed, your chest is open. And with that heel reaching away from you, I just want you to breathe deeply. So if you have something around the foot, you're going to take it into your right hand. You're going to take your left hand to the front of your left hip, and you're going to slowly open out to the right. Maybe very mindful of this inner thigh. We're creating a little bit of a stretch there. So you might go a little bit. If you are more open, like I said, be very mindful. You're going to go further. If you're just holding the leg, I want you to be gentle to take it out and use your elbow maybe as a prop. If it was this side, you'd be like this, opening the leg out and keep that leg supported. And just take a couple breaths here. Kind of opening up the inside of this right leg. And then lift up to center. And we're going to do a twist. So you're going to take this foot across the body towards the left. And if it feels okay, you're going to stack your hips. Or if you had the strap, it would actually be in the left hand, bringing that leg over. Your right arm is going to come out to the right. And you're either going to look straight up Or if it's comfortable for your neck, you're going to turn your head to the right, the opposite direction of your leg. You should feel a pretty big stretch around the outside of that hip, maybe the outside of that thigh. If you're coming way over is too much, you don't have to do the full twist. You can just come up at an angle. And I want you to breathe here. And then begin to lift that leg back up. Let the knee come in. If you have a strap or towel, take it off to the side. Give that leg a little squeeze. And then I want you to let the leg come all the way down. And we're going to pause here. So just let the feet relax. Take your arms down on the floor, palms face up. And I want you to notice how that right leg feels. So it might feel like a little like buzzing. It might feel like it's longer than the left leg. So we don't often take time to just pause and feel the energetic effects of the poses. Like when I talk about there being like stuck or challenging energy, and sometimes like that's in your body, you don't always notice it when you're feeling it, but you notice it when you've shifted it. So this leg should feel a little looser than the left. So we're going to try to create that on the left side now. So left side, take your knee up to the chest and either hold over the leg, over the shin, or the back of the thigh. Again, see how this side feels for what feels best. You're hugging that gently in, breathe here. And remember, you're creating a little bit of a stretch for the front of that right hip. Okay, so we're going to do the same sequence on the opposite side. If you don't have a strap or a towel, you just lift the leg up. If you do, you take it around the ball of the foot. So remember, you're not straightening the leg. It is keeping a bend in it. But you are flexing the foot. So the heel reaches away, toes are pointing back down towards you. You're continuing to breathe deeply through your nose. And if you're holding a strap or towel, you're going to let those arms slide down so the upper arms relax. And you're just going to breathe here. Depending on how tight you are, this might be a really big stretch for that calf, maybe even the hamstrings. If it's a little too much, you can relax the foot a little bit if having it flexed is a little too much. Okay, so now you have a strap or towel, you're going to take it into your left hand and you're going to take that leg out to the left while taking your right hand on the right hip. So you might take it out a lot. If you don't have the strap, you're going to use your arm down as kind of like a kickstand and you're going to support the leg. I'd like you to keep the foot flexed. It might come all the way out or just up. Being very mindful of how the inner thigh feels. I only want you to do what feels comfortable. You don't want to be straining yourself. Even just a little bit of a stretch means you're creating more space in your body, which means you're creating more space in your life. Okay, so start to gently lift that back up. And now we're going to go for the outside of the leg. So if you have a strap, you're going to switch hands. It'll come into the right hand. Left arm will come on the floor. And you're going to start to bring it across the body. If this is a really good stretch, you're going to stay right here. Otherwise, you're going to move on to that right hip. So your hips stack and you're reaching that left leg to the right. Either keep your head in center or if it's okay, turn your head to the left. And you're just going to breathe here. And if it's comfortable, reach through that left heel. That's a little too intense. You can keep the foot relaxed. Listen to your breath. So now from here, that left leg is going to begin to lift up. You're gonna let the knee bend. If you have a towel or strap, you're gonna take that off to the side. You're gonna hug the knee into the chest, just give it a nice squeeze. And then you're gonna lay that leg back down, and we're gonna do that same pause we did on the other side. So let your arms relax, let your legs and feet relax. Now notice how that left side feels, left leg, left hip. Does it feel a little longer, a little looser? You might actually be able to feel kind of like the energy moving through that wasn't before. Okay. So now I want you to bring both knees bent, and I'm going to bring both knees into the chest. And so from here, first, I just want you to rock gently side to side. This is a nice back massage. And then come to center with your hands on your knees, make little circles. This is a really nice way to get a little massage for your low back. And then go the opposite direction. So then from center, doing one more squeeze here. You lift your forehead up, curl up in a little ball. Keep the knees up there, relax your head and neck down. You're going to roll over to your right side. And then put your left arm down and start to lift up. Okay, so I'm going to have you come sit Sukhasana, easy pose. If you are open in the hips, you can sit flat. You might like to grab that blanket or towel and like fold it in half, and then you would sit your bottom on the edge, and then your feet and knees are down. So you can sit cross-legged like this. If you're a little more open, you can have one foot in front of the other. Okay, so now we're sitting up tall. I just want you to have your palms facing down. It's a gesture of being kind of grounded and being in the present moment. I want you to feel like you press your bottom into the ground and almost feel like the wave moves up your spine to lengthen so you're sitting up tall. And now let's come back to the breath. So now that you're sitting, like when you inhale, you should be able to feel like your belly and rib cage kind of expand. And then when you exhale, you should feel it draw back in. We tend to focus a lot on the front, but you might even be able to notice like your low back that you inhale and you feel like there's a little expansion there. I mean, nothing huge, but almost just feel like you're getting the breath to feel the back ribs, back of your low belly too. And just listen to the sound of your breath. Let it bring you into the present moment. Okay, so if you like, you can keep your eyes closed or you can open them up. We're just going to do some stretches here. So I want you to start bringing your chin to your chest. Breathe here. Just notice the back of the neck. The neck is really the area that does not really get a break. So it's a nice area to work on stretching. And then gently bring your right ear over towards your right shoulder. I want your shoulders to stay relaxed. You should be feeling a bit of an intense stretch on that left side. Let your chin come back down to the chest. Bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Keep breathing. And bring the chin back down to the chest. And lift your head up to center. Okay, so let's just do some shoulder rolls. So lift the shoulders up, bring them back, down, up and around. So just shoulder rolls, one of my favorite things to do. I mean, just this little seated portion with the neck stretches, shoulder rolls, and the rest of them could just be like an afternoon thing you do at your desk to help you, energize, shrug off the stress from the morning, and just to give yourself a little self-care. Okay, so let the shoulders relax. I want you to take your right arm out and put your left arm up. I don't know if this is reversed on Zoom. Sometimes I like to mirror you, but whichever side works. Okay, so inhale, try to almost reach up a little bit longer. And then as you exhale, reach over to the side. So the hand that's down, gently press it down. Because otherwise that hip tries to lift up. When you press there, it grounds that hip. So you can really get a stretch here. When you inhale, I want you to feel like you're inhaling to this side rib cage, like creating some space between those ribs. And keep your shoulders relaxed. Okay, so I want you to reach that arm up in the air and use that energy to kind of pull you up and out. Okay, so the left arm's down, right arm up. So when you're sitting tall, I want you to reach up with that arm and reach over to the opposite side. That hand that's on the floor, gently press it down so your hips stay grounded. Breathe into this rib cage. Creating space, releasing tension, tightness. Okay, hand that's in the air, reach it up, use that energy to help pull you out. Beautiful. So we're starting to feel a little more open here. Now we're going to do a seated twist. So I want you to take right hand behind you, left hand across to the knee. So you always want length first and twist, like your hips stay forward. The twist is happening from here up. Okay, so inhale, press those fingers down behind you to sit up taller. And then as you exhale, you're going to turn towards the side. So with each inhale, you can feel like you sit up a little taller. And with each exhale, feel like maybe you twist a little bit deeper. And you're either going to look to the side, or if your neck is comfortable, you're going to turn and look over your back shoulder. If you like, just close your eyes, breathe here. Twists help bring out the internal organs. Some freshly oxygenated blood flowing through when you come out of them. Okay, as you exhale, come through the center, and I just want you to pause here. Just notice how you feel. Okay, left hand behind you, right hand comes across. So press those fingers down behind you to sit up tall. And then as you exhale, twist to the side. This might be as far as you twist, or if you feel like you have a little more space. When you inhale, you sit up taller. When you exhale, you twist a little bit more. And then either look straight to the side, or if it's comfortable for your neck, look over your back shoulder. Okay, as you exhale, come back to center. And again, after this side, you're just going to pause. Okay, so after twisting both sides, I like to do like some spinal movements. So seated cat cow. So I'm going to show you from the side. When you inhale, I want your chest to come forward. Feel like your shoulder blades slide down the back. You're doing a little back bend, and you're going to look up. You don't have to crank your head, just lift the chin a bit. And then your elbows are bent. When you exhale, I want you to start to bring your upper back, chin to your chest, and maybe your arms straighten. And then you're going to move with your breath. So inhale forward and up. Exhale back. Go at your own pace, moving with your breath. Let's just do a couple more. And then inhale, come to center. Okay, so we're going to do an arm stretch, a little bit of a chest opener. So if you have a strap or a towel, you're going to take it in your right hand. So this one, I'm going to show you from behind just to give you a view. So if you have the strap, you're going to take it up. If you don't have the strap, you're just going to hold your arm up like this anyway. And you're going to bend your elbow so that your hand is flat against your back, wherever it is. It might be up higher, be lower. If you're holding a strap, you're going to hold here. And you're going to take your opposite arm, take the palm to face behind you. And you're going to bend it and you're going to reach for the bottom of the strap. If you're holding the strap, you're going to try to walk those hands towards each other. And then feel like you pull the elbows opposite direction. This should open your chest. If you don't have a strap or a towel, or that's just too intense, you're going to take that opposite arm. It's just going to hold at the elbow and it's going to pull just gently so that hand might slide down the back. In both positions, I want you to try to relax your shoulders a little bit. And breathe deeply here. Okay, on an exhale, that hand that's holding is going to release, whether it's the strap or the arm. Let that come down. And then the other arm is going to come up. And I just want you to pause here for a moment. So other side, you're going to take strap or the towel, arm up and bends. Other arm comes out. Have the palm facing away so it can reach behind and grab. Oops, fix that. And so you walk your hands towards each other and then feel like you pull the elbows opposite direction. That helps open the chest up. And you're going to stay here and breathe. If you didn't have anything, or like I said, if that's too intense, you take that outside hand to just draw that elbow in a little bit so that hand slides down the back and you breathe. And when you're ready, outside hand, if it's holding the strap on the bottom, release. And release the elbow, let it come down. Let the other arm lift up. If you're holding a strap, just release it and just let your hands relax. Just pause here. That can be pretty intense. We tend to carry a lot of tension up here. So just notice maybe here you feel kind of like new pathways have opened up. There might have been some locked or stuck energy that's now flowing through. Okay. So from here, we are going to move to hands and knees. So if you like a little padding under your knees, which I do, you're going to have a towel or a blanket. Otherwise, you'll be just right on the mat. And I want your knees to be about hip distance apart. Your hands are about shoulder distance apart. So we're going to do some hip circles here. So I want you to bring your hips to the right, then you're going to bring them back towards your heels, then you're going to bring them over to the left, forward and around. And I want you to see if you can do this with the breath. So feel like you inhale for half the circle and exhale to close the circle. Okay, so let's start to go the opposite direction. Next time you're in front, go left and back to the right and around. So this is a really good way to take care of your hip joints. And in yoga philosophy, we carry unexpressed emotions in our hips. So when you really get into the hips, they're helping release some of that stuff you've been holding on to. And that's why sometimes too, you might get a little emotional in the yoga class because it's bringing some old stuff up, but it's good because it's helping release it. Okay, so next time you're in front, I want you just to bring yourself to center. And then we're going to do some cat cow stretches here. So just like before, I want you to let the elbows bend a little bit. This time your tailbone sticks up a little bit as you drop your belly, lift your head. And exhale, let your elbows bend. But as you move, tuck your tailbone, bring your chin to your chest. And move. Inhales, head and tailbone lift. Exhales, head and tailbone tuck. And so let it be fluid, like let the elbows bend as you move, and then you can press into the hands at the end of each stretch. So inhaling as everything lifts, exhaling as everything tucks. Okay, so next time you inhale, just come to a flat back. And I want you to curl your toes under to get a bit of a stretch for the bottoms of the feet. You're going to press your hips back and you're going to walk your arms forward and come into a child's pose. So your forehead's going to come down. You can let the upper arms or let the upper body and upper arms relax. If it feels better for you just to stay up, you can stay up and press into the mat. Okay, breathe here. Trying to get to all parts of the body. Okay, so gently begin to lift yourself back up. And you're going to keep those toes curled. And I want you to come so that you're up on your knees. Okay, so we're going to do a very gentle back bend called camel pose. So this could be very intense. So if you happen to be flexible and have good self-awareness and you're used to yoga, you can go a little bit deeper. Otherwise, you're just going to take your hands on your low back. So it looks like this. Toes are tucked. I want you to feel like you draw your elbows towards you. So in back bends, you want length. And then a little secret too is to feel like when you go into it, you don't have to do it right the second. You feel like you move your rib cage back. So I'm going to show you here. I just want you to inhale for length. As you exhale, almost feel like you slide your rib cage back and then try to do a little bend, taking your gaze up towards the ceiling. So your hands press those hips forward for support. Elbows stay towards each other. Rib cage moves back to keep you open. Breathe here. I almost want you to feel like there's a string on the front of your chest, and that's going to pull you forward and up. And this time, untuck your toes, hips come back, and stretch yourself forward into a relaxing child's pose. We want to stretch that area here and let the head come down. If it feels nice, you might like to bring your arms so that your hands are back by your feet. And let the head come down and reconnect with your breath here. When you're in child's pose, it's a real nice pose to feel the breath in the back side of your body. Like I was saying, we always focus on the front side of the body. So notice how your whole back expands with each inhale and draws back in with each exhale. Just enjoying the beauty of this moment, the beauty of having a breath. Okay, so now I want you to let your hands come in. You're going to lift yourself up, scoot your feet to one side. So we're going to come down to bridge pose. So I want it to be a little bit of a supported bridge pose. If you happen to have a block, you can grab a block. Otherwise, you're going to take your blanket or towel and maybe fold it 3 times so it's got a little bit of height. I'm going to slide that to the side. So come to like maybe the middle of your mat. And you're going to lay down. You're going to bring your heels pretty close to the body. Back of your head is down. And feet are about hip distance apart. You're going to lift your hips up. You're going to slide this underneath. So you want it underneath the low back. So the low back feels supported. And then when you take the arms on the floor, close your eyes, your palms are facing up. And just breathe here. If you have a block and you'd like to take this higher, you can go ahead and do that. So like taking the block to a higher height so that your hips go higher, but again, just be very mindful. Listen to your body. And if you're on a blanket or a towel and you'd like this to be more of a hip flexor stretch, you can take your legs down gently, and you're going to feel a little bit more of an opening here. And keep the arms relaxed. Let the legs relax. Listen to your breath. Okay, so wherever you're at, like if your legs are straight, let's bend them. We're going to lift up, slide your block or blanket out from underneath you, and let the hips come down. Just pause for a moment. Okay, I want you to bring both knees into your chest. You're going to wrap your arms around. Just give yourself a nice squeeze. It always feels good after a little back bend. And then coming back down, we're going to come back to those little circles that we did earlier, little low back massage. And then a little rocking side to side. And then one squeeze here one more time, lift the forehead up. And relax. Okay, you want to put the feet down. We're going to come into Shavasana. So for Shavasana, your legs stretch out. You want them a little wider than hip distance, and you want your toes to kind of splay out to the side, inside the feet face up. Arms are a little bit away from the body, palms face up. You might need to move your shoulder blades down the back, lift your hips, stretch your legs out. And then a couple options for here. If you have an eye pillow and you're watching a recording of this, feel free to pause, or if you have time now, go get one. Or a washcloth. So I like to kind of tune out the light, the brightness, so that you put this over your eyes. You might also like to take your blanket or towel and open it up so that it's on you. Or if you have a rolled up blanket or towel, you might like to slide it under your knees. That helps a little bit if you have a tight low back. I just want you to find a place to get comfortable. So like I said, feet are relaxed out to the side, palms face up. Really feel like the chest is open. And we're going to come back to those cleansing breaths you did at the beginning. So I want you to inhale deeply through your nose, exhale out of your mouth. Two more. And then just allow your breath to relax. So you're going to do a little relaxation here. And then you're going to hear a chime and you're going to keep your eyes closed. And we're going to do a little meditation with you lying down. But for now, relax. Enjoy. Mother Earth is supporting you. You can let from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes soften and be supported. So often we're taking care of other people's needs, other people's wants. Allow yourself to take care of your own right now. Staying relaxed. I just want you to begin to imagine in your mind's eye that you're standing on the edge of a beautiful forest. In front of you, you see a path, and you begin to walk down that path. And just take in all the sights around you. Notice the types of trees. Maybe there's wildflowers. Look around for any animals. There's squirrels, owls, butterflies. Just take it all in as you walk along this forest path. I want you to feel a breeze, notice the leaves rustling. And up ahead, notice that there's a quiet pond. Take a moment to gaze out at the pond and the forest beyond. This beautiful natural setting that you're in. So now walk to the edge of the pond and look down into the still waters. What do you see? At first, just water. Then gradually a reflection emerges. It's you. It's your life. Gaze peacefully into the water, into the reflection of your life. See that it has been just as it should be. A lifetime of events causing ripples of love, peace, and healing in the universe. See that it is now just as it should be. The people who are gathered around you are there for a reason. The places you have visited were not without purpose. The lessons you have learned are yours forever. You are right where you need to be. Gaze into your reflection in the quiet, deep mirror of the pond until you see that, until you know that, until you feel that. Gaze long enough to see truth, peace, contentment, divine order. Then take a moment again to look around at the forest. Take in its beauty, its wonder, its shimmering leaves. Inhale the smells, the musk, the smell of cedar and pine. Inhale, breathe deeply until the breath of life fills you with wonder. Let it flow through you. Let it saturate every cell. Peace, contentment, divine order. You are safe. The forest is your friend. It tells you that all is well. Look around. See the tallest tree. See that it has weathered every storm, millimeter by millimeter, ring by ring, continued its growth over centuries. Know that you have grown that way too. And now it feels right to go back onto the path you started on. As you're walking back on this path, I want you to feel the earth beneath your feet, supporting you, giving you strength, filling you with grounded energy. Walk down the winding path through the glimmers of sunlight until you reach the edge of the forest. Now you are in the light. Say goodbye to the woods. Say goodbye to this time of deep contentment, of deep contemplation and reflection on all you have seen, all you have been, all you are. Go in peace, go in contentment, go now into the light of your life. Allow your awareness to come back to your breath. Allow your inhales to become deeper and your exhales to become longer. Bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly start to rotate your wrists and your ankles. Reach your arms overhead. Give yourself a full body stretch. And hug your knees into your chest. Give them a gentle squeeze. Roll over to your right side and gently begin to lift yourself up to center. So sitting cross-legged, I just want you to sit up. This time bring your palms to face up. A gesture of just being open to receiving guidance, wisdom, happiness, and joy. Take some deep breaths here. Thank yourself for taking this time. Get in tune with your body, your intuition. So now I want you to take a card deck. And we're going to pull out the cards. And so with the cards, like if you're using the ones I printed out, you'll just have a smaller deck, or that you printed out from my guidebook. Well, you might have a large deck if it's from my guidebook. From the mini guidebook, you might just have a few cards. But what I like to do is just a way to like tap old energy out, is just to like knock on the deck and just poof, old energy I don't need is not there anymore. And now you're kind of in a much more like centered and aligned place. You kind of fan the cards out facing your heart. And here, almost imagining like that energy at your heart like flows down your arms into your hands, into the cards, and then like back to the heart and vice versa. Like there's almost this like a beautiful circle connection going on here. Listening to your breath, I want you just to take some time here, and you might say, like, what do I need to know right now? Maybe there's an area in your life that you'd like some guidance around. It could just be like, can you please give me guidance around my career, certain relationship. You might have a specific question. Try to avoid yes or no questions. This is just something you're doing as a tool to kind of connect with your own inner wisdom, your connection to the divine. And so a couple options once you get to this point. One thing would be, so if you want to just keep holding with your heart, you could just kind of shuffle like this until something falls out. And like usually that happens, you know, like something will pop out. If it's two, you might take two, or you might put them back, keep going. Or when you're holding here, you might maybe think of a number between like 1 and 5, see what pops up and say it was 2. And then if you are familiar with traditional shuffling, you know, you put them out in front, do 1, 2, and then you would pull the top card. Another thing to do is that you could spread them out. And then like with one hand on your heart, one hand going over the cards. Sometimes you might feel like an energetic pull or like push, and like be like that'd be the card that you would need. And so those are your techniques, whichever one seems you're drawn to today. That's what I'm going to do. And then I want you to notice the card that came up. And so without even, if you do have a deck that has a book, don't look at the book right away and just look at the card. And in relation to the question you asked, like what comes up for you? And there's a message for you there. And then if you have time, you could grab a notebook, or you could do this later when you have more time to sit down with the card and just to kind of write down the message that's on the card or what came up for you, or what the message is. And then if you want, then you could take time later or after this to go find it in the book and notice usually there's a longer meaning, and then find out if you got a little bit of guidance for your question you had today. And then something I like to do is, we have a larger deck, is to see what was on the bottom. See if there's kind of like what the hidden energy is related to your situation. And then you might like to write about that too. Okay, so you have all the answers you're looking for. We just tend to be looking outside ourselves all the time. And that is something I'm totally guilty of. And that is why I like teaching and practicing yoga, getting out of your head, back into your body, getting away from an outward focus to an inward focus, so that when you're feeling stressed or anxious and you are looking for guidance, to know that it's right here. You just need to get quiet, release some of the tightness and tension that might be holding you from hearing it, receiving it, feeling it. And then taking that time to notice what comes up, maybe even taking a little bit more time to journal it out. And then I want you to think now as you go throughout your day, like how that message might show up. And hopefully you're feeling a little bit differently, that you might show up differently in the world today too, and maybe for the couple of days after you practice this. And so this could be a practice that you do once a week, once a month. You could do it daily. It's just a really beautiful way to connect to yourself, to your inner wisdom, because you are beautiful, you are worthy, you have all the answers, and I'm really happy for our connection. So let's seal our practice just by putting our hands in front of our heart. So a gesture of gratitude to ourselves for taking this time to be with ourselves, to get quiet. Like I said, to release the stress and tension that life has added on, so you can become more aligned, more open, live from a more peaceful place. So I just want you to take a deep inhale and hold it at the top as long as you comfortably can. Whenever you're ready, you'll release, and you're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, well, hopefully you're feeling really good. And I'm grateful that you did this practice with me today, and I hope you return to it again in the future. Namaste. Thank you so much.